grandpa.
Oh,
I tell you, it's quite a sight.
I
It's
bet
quite
it
a
is.
sight. Yeah, it is.
Hey,
He's just getting,
it's
he's
one
new
job
at
I
it. Well, I mean,
enjoy
he's like
every
full
hour.
time at it.
Grandpa. My little grandson pretty much likes his grandpa.
Oh,
He's got him kidded.
okay.
He's got a pretty good grandpa, you know.
Thank you.
Okay, we will get started. If everyone could please stand, and we will have invocation by Pastor Bob Flack. Pastor Flack.
I'd invite all who wish to pray as I lead us. Eternal God and gracious Father, we offer to you the praise that you deserve as creator and sustainer of all life and every society. We acknowledge that you ultimately claim the treasuries of wisdom and the reins of power. We thank you for good government and those you have raised up in this room to carry out its responsibilities here in our city of Atchison. You have indeed shed your grace on us. So we pray for our commissioners and members of the city staff, not only as they handle this agenda, but as they begin to discuss and develop a new budget. Give them wisdom to deploy limited resources in the most just and worthy way. Cause their decisions to result in a city of stronger families, businesses, and institutions. Our Father, we ask you to promote and protect what is true and good and beautiful. And we ask it through Jesus Christ, our crucified Savior and risen King. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I will now call the meeting to order. At this time, Tina, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Young.
Present.
Vice Mayor Wilcox.
Present.
Commissioner Greenlee.
Present.
Commissioner Murphy.
Present.
Commissioner Slattery.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, we will now have a presentation by our state representative, Representative Alan Rivas, and he will be giving us a legislative update.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to start out by just thanking the commissioners for serving. As a veteran commissioner, I know it's a lot of work and some tough decisions. I really want to admire what the city's been doing in the last few years with, before I was on, when I was on, and since I've been on, but you guys have kept the ball rolling. But methodically, we've gone through this town and cleaned up a lot of things. We've got a lot of sidewalks, a lot of streets getting better, or just a lot of neighborhoods are improving. And it's the one thing I hear from visitors and friends of mine who haven't been here in years and come back, is how much better Atchison looks. And it's the curb appeal. So don't let up. I know there's a lot of pressures on where to spend the money, but we need to keep that going because it really is having an impact. So I just want to, that's my little speech for you guys, my cheerleading for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Today, what I've been doing in my district, I've just been going around to all the city meetings, county meetings, some townships, just letting you know I'm here, got a question, got a concern. I've had the opportunity to help a lot of constituents with some problems. So I'm in this room right now. We've had to help deal with some things. So if the city has a concern or something happens, I know there's been a little issue once with a little inspection issue, and if I would have got ahead of that a little bit, it might have been helpful. It's just kind of strange if just because you're a state rep and you call. I don't think that's right, but it works. So just let me know if I can help with something.
Okay. Certainly so.
So this session was a pretty good session. We got a lot of things done. A lot of things did not get done. That's probably always going to be the truth. Where we were successful, I think, and it was very bipartisan, we cut about $250 million off the budget from the previous year. So we actually shrunk the budget. Really haven't lost any services. There's always going to be headlines about all these bad things happening to everybody. I'm on the Social Services Budget Committee, and I deal with KDADS and Medicaid and nursing home, all these agencies, and I've been calling folks, everybody's doing fine. Okay, so there's not a problem. There's probably going to be some more reductions in the budget next year, and a lot of those reductions are just finding efficiencies and moving the tasks around where they're best being done, and there's really not been a real challenge that way. I think that'll be easy next year. I think the following years it gets tougher, but as it should. Just share an interesting story. Early in the budget process, we realized we had over 960, I think, roughly FTE positions fully funded in the budget from the year before, and we got rid of those. So we got rid of 960 some employees, right? No, nobody lost a job. They didn't fill them. So you get the money in your agency, but you don't fill the position, but you've got the money. And then you don't fill the position, you've got extra cash to spend. So that didn't happen. So that was one of our big cuts. And so people be held more accountable. Some of it was legit. They couldn't find certain skill sets for positions, and those we put back in. Ended up around 900, I think. So there's just things like that happen. Sometimes accidentally. It's not necessarily a conspiracy. It's just one of those things where we got to be more responsible. So anyway, a lot of things like that are being looked at a little more scrutiny now. So with this session, we did that with the budget. This little paper kind of gives you a summary of just some of the areas, just highlights some of the fields. Legislative research puts this out. It's a nonpartisan. Basically, it's several attorneys, and they do a great job summarizing legislation. Since this came out, the final document is probably, 400 pages. It actually has everything in it in more detail. And that's it, digital, it's online. Let's see here. Yeah, on the blue banners is Kansas Legislative Research Department, KLRD. You can look that up on the state website, and that will be right on their front page. And you can look at specifics, a certain area. It's alphabetical, as you can see on here. You can look about anything up pretty easily on that site. So if you have a certain area that you want to get into the details on, I'd recommend that. On the back page, it kind of gives a summary of my contact information. I just put that on there. Rather than pay extra for the printing, it was easier just to do this. But this shows a summary of how many bills get presented, how many get passed. Less than 20% of the bills end up getting passed. One of the reasons is there's a lot of bills that are similar in nature, or that are obviously frivolous, just kind of ornery bills. But and some things just aren't ready yet. There's research to be done, more data to collect. But that's pretty typical of most years. So you can kind of read that over with your own time. Then if there's certain areas you're interested in, let me know. I'll be happy to dig into more details. We did some good things, I think, for fire. There's a lot of gamut here. A lot of the gamut's covered with the city. One thing I will also mention is that one thing I've learned down there, which I already knew this, but I experienced it a little bit more firsthand, there's a pretty good disconnect between some of the legislators and local government. And it's not on purpose. It's just, they know what they know, just like I know what I know. So my experience has been here at the city of Atchison, county of Atchison. And so it's not going to be the same as it would be, say, in a Leewood or a Prairie Village or Hayes. It's just everybody's a little different. But we have some more urban legislators who don't like or have difficulties with their city government, and so they would like to pass laws telling them what they can and can't do. And it took some work, but we're working on this, getting a little more to understand that every city commission, every city council is not like theirs. Maybe there's a problem there. That's the issue about an election. That's not an issue to make more laws. So I've worked with two senators and two in the House. We're forming a local government caucus, and about 30, I think it's 35, 36 legislators out of the 165 have been on either a city, county, or a township government. We did not include school boards because schools are a whole nother animal. It's a whole other situation. But so about almost a fourth of the legislature has been on local government, and we would vent our frustrations about what some of them thought, and we could tell there was an issue there. So with the leadership's permission, we've formed this caucus, and it's getting some real good interest. So we're hoping this next year to be able to utilize that as an information tool to create a little more of an understanding of how local government works and kind of where those lines of authority or how we can work together instead of having a disagreement sometimes. So, but anyway, so that's some of the things going on.
Wonderful, wonderful. I do want to say and I'm glad that you mentioned the local government caucus, because I was at a League of Kansas Municipalities meeting in Garden City, Kansas, and you were mentioned because your partner with the local government caucus had mentioned, and it sounds like it's a wonderful caucus and something that is needed, because as you say, it's important to build that collaboration between local government and the state government.
Yeah, that's Representative Lon Pishney.
Yes.
Yeah, it's our brainchild. We were sitting there venting one day, and that's where it came from. So do something instead of just complain, I guess, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we may find out next year it was a bad idea, but we're going to try it.
I don't see how, more collaboration is never a bad thing.
Right,
And
right,
then
so-
speaking of that, commissioners and our city manager, does anyone have any
Yeah,
questions? Yes, sir.
Alan, just because you used to sit there and I sat there and you'd tell me when to talk and when not to talk. Because it's been a topic with us in the last month as we do the budget, obviously, property tax is a hot topic. And I think it's important to know that for our community, it's not just a city thing, it's a state-driven number, and that's a big topic of conversation in Topeka, I would assume, on a regular basis.
I would agree. This is the one place where I would say we failed last session. And so what happened right at the end is each like the House and the Senate, each have passed a bill on appraisals, on the appraisal part of this.
Yes.
They were different. There was a conference committee. They couldn't come to an agreement, and proposals kept going back and forth, and it just died. So going forward, everyone is making it a priority to figure it out. I think it might be good that we didn't figure it all the way out, because that's created a way to learn a lot more and look at some other angles. And this summer, like, I just went to one of the think tanks, and there's model legislation. There's a lot of ideas from other states. So I think we'll see something where appraisals are capped in some way, the rate of increase could be capped or controlled. And so on the property tax side, the state cut their 1.5 mil, so there's no more state collection of any property tax. So that's over. And so really it's whatever city, schools, townships, fire districts, et cetera, decide to levy. So it's a matter of, this goes back to that collaboration, like how much does the state say by building an appraisal formula that's different, that's fair, when maybe you have some city or county say, well, we really need a little more than that this year. So it's going to be kind of a fine line to figure that out. But pretty common, what I heard in Indiana at this meeting I was just at, was a 2% cap, no matter what. So, and they showed a lot of data where it supports that. So we'll see where it lands.
And last year, we kept tabs on all of those various property tax bills, and we were discussing them, within the League of Kansas Municipalities as well. And there were quite a few that went through that started and didn't go anywhere. And some of them cities and counties looked at and said that would work for us, and other ones we looked at and said that would make life very difficult. And again, ultimately, none of them passed. But we'll stay on top of that during next session as well. So.
Yep. And the local government caucus is sponsored by the League and the KAC, the counties. So they're working with us collaboratively to help put together some programming.
Good.
So we're hoping to really get somewhere.
That would be good, because as our vice mayor said, a lot of people are feeling a lot of the economic challenges, and it's real, and you get no more real than local. And we certainly feel it, our individuals feel it, and we're doing the best we can with our budgeting. So we appreciate that. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay.
My contact information is there. Let me know if you're talking to someone who has a question, feel free to call me. Sometimes I get a call and I go, well, that's actually a federal question, or that's a city question. I'm fine with that. And because I was on city for a while, I had a guy the other day who said, if I was still on city commission, started asking me a question, I was like, well, I'll be happy to try to answer, but I'm not there anymore. So anyway, so I think it's okay. So we can all keep working together like that, and just call me if you need me.
Okay, great. We certainly will, and thank you again, and thank you for your service while you were on the city commission, and we thank you for your representation for us now.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
All
It's been an
right.
honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, we will open up for public forum. And public forum, this is where persons who wish to address the city commission regarding items that are not on the agenda, so again, these items are not on our agenda, may do so at this time when called upon by the mayor. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes and should give their name and address when addressing the commission. Any presentation is for informational purposes only. Any and all written communication should be deposited with our city clerk, Tina Fitzpatrick. And at this moment, I will open for our public forum. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the commission on items not on our agenda? All right. I am going to close the forum now. Okay, public forum is closed. We will now have our consent agenda presented by our city manager, Mr. Mark Westhoff. Mr. Westhoff.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. We have 6 items on the consent agenda tonight. The first is to approve the meeting minutes from your July 7th, 2025 City Commission meeting. The second is to authorize the mayor to sign a time extension request letter for 526 Commercial for the CDBG project at that address. That one, it's going to be a 5-month extension request. We are working with Commerce and the property owner on a contractor situation there, so we're requesting a 5-month extension on that one. The third item is an extension for the LFM Park Improvements CDBG project. That's simply because some of the parts aren't going to get here until later in the summer, early fall, and so they need a little more time to complete that work. The fourth is to authorize staff to execute a construction services agreement with KDOT for the Patriot Street Bridge Replacement Project. This is for the engineering and inspection contract for that project. The fifth is to authorize staff to hire Snyder and Associates for construction inspection services for the water mains replacement project in the amount of $57,300. Last meeting, you approved the water mains construction. This is for the inspection of all of those projects. Together, they still come in under budget for the main project. And the sixth is to authorize staff to hire Lochner for services in the amount of $40,000 for design and engineering of the primary apron expansion project at the Amelia Earhart Airport. This amount is covered 95% by a KDOT grant.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Okay.
I'd welcome you to say under budget one more time, just because it feels
Yes.
good.
Yeah, it sounds so good. Like a warm, cozy feeling.
It is. All right. With that, then, I will move that we accept the consent agenda as printed. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the consent agenda as printed. All those in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next, we will move on to our new business, which is our board openings. And Commissioners, that is on page 71 of our packet. And we will take these one by one.
Yes.
And Mr. Westhoff, would you like to?
Yeah, so we had in July, end of July, many boards' seats expire in their annual terms, and so we had a lot of openings. Thankfully, we also received a lot of interest in these openings, so we have quite a few to go through tonight. The first is for the Board of Code Review. This board meets whenever we do any kind of upgrades or changes to the building codes and trade codes in the city. There are 3 openings, one for citizen at large, one for a representative from the insurance industry, and one for a plumbing contractor. We received one application for the insurance representative, is Rhea Laughlin. Ray or Rhea? Does anyone?
Ray.
Sorry, apologize. And then we received 2 applications for the citizen at large opening. One is Dennis
Pedish.
Pedish. who is currently sitting on the board in that seat. And the second is Joseph Zaleski. Both of those applied for that citizen at large position. And then we did not receive an application for the plumbing contractor opening, so we'll go out for that again.
Okay, all right.
The letters from Mr. Pedish and Mr. Zaleski are in your packet. If you want to look at those, I can go through them with you, or you can just look at them yourselves.
All right. Does anyone have any questions at this point? So we have Mr. Pedish, who has served before. Mr. Laughlin, has he also served before? He has served before. Okay, and in that insurance
That role, yes.
representative? Okay, and so then we have Mr. Zelensky, who has applied as well. This would be his first time, and he would be also applying for citizen at large.
Yes, and he laid out since he has not been on the board before, he laid out in his letter that he is an environmental lawyer who interprets building codes as part of his job. He lives here in the city. So just as his background, that he would be qualified for the opening.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions, concerns? Okay. Anyone ready for a motion?
I'll make this motion
Okay.
that we accept these 3 citizens here to
Oh.
fill.
Well, unfortunately,
we can't-
we have to, you can accept
We can accept.
Ray Laughlin
Have to
as
accept them individually?
no, I'm just saying that the citizen at large, there's one opening and 2 applicants. So
Right.
you'll have to choose one of those applicants in your motion.
Just
Or just-
for informational purposes on here, they have Ray Laughlin as, is this correct, plumbing contractor?
No.
No.
So this is,
That's not,
no, Ray Laughlin is
Yeah.
applying for the insurance representative
Right.
opening.
Oh, I see.
These Dennis and Mr. Pedish and Mr. Zaleski applied for the citizen at large opening. There's 2 applications for 1 opening.
I'm with
The plumbing contractor, we did not receive an application for that.
I would move we accept Ray Laughlin as the insurance
I'll
representative.
second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded
Sure.
that we accept Mr. Laughlin for the insurance representative. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. Motion, all those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now next we have to deal with the citizen at large, with either Dennis Pedish returning or having Mr. Zelensky be the citizen at large.
I make a motion to accept Dennis.
Oh, okay, there's been a motion to accept
What do you say?
Dennis Pedish. There is a second by Vice Mayor, is that correct?
No.
Oh,
I'll second it.
okay. So Commissioner Slattery seconded. It's been moved and seconded that we accept Dennis Pedish for the citizen at large position for the Board of Code Review. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Opposed?
Okay, 1 opposed. Motion carries with 4 and 1 opposed.
Okay.
All right, next we have no one for the Design Review Committee, is that correct?
Correct, yes. There's
Okay.
still 1 opening, so we'll advertise for that as well.
Okay,
Now, what does that committee do? I'm not too posted.
For the Main Street area design, the downtown area design
To
reviews.
get a merchant involved in that?
So this is why this one has been tough, is this opening is specifically held for someone from an industrial business. There's not a whole lot of industrial businesses in that downtown corridor who might be interested. It's not limited to just someone in that downtown corridor, but it is limited to someone in industrial business. So that's one reason why that opening has
okay,
been there for a little while now.
okay. And so that will be then re-advertised?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So next we have the Economic Development Advisory.
I might
Board.
recommend we come back to that one last, as
Okay.
it's the most competitive.
Okay.
We can do the other boards and then come back.
Okay, so next to the
The next is the
housing?
Housing Authority Board. We had 1 opening for a city resident, and we received 1 application from David Downing.
Okay. All right, has everyone?
I'd
seen
move that we accept that
Oh.
application.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we have David Downing as the on the Housing Authority for City Resident. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to Mr. Downing, and I should say congratulations to Mr. Pedish and also Mr. Laughlin. All right, Park
Okay.
and Forestry Board?
Next is the Park and Forestry Board. We have 6 openings on this board this year, 2 unexpired terms that will expire in 2027, July 31st, 2027, and 4 full 4-year terms. So we received 4 applications for those 6 openings. You may choose to put them all in the full 4-year terms and keep those 2-year terms open and we'll advertise again, or you can choose to, put 2 in the 2 open term. It's kind of up to you how you want to do it. But we received 4 applications, Anna Catloth, Matthew Rowe, August Hawley, and Jeremy Sienkiewicz. They all have their letters here for, why they want to serve on that board.
Okay, I do not have a problem with appointing all 4 to the 4-year terms. What do you all think?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, all right, and I'll second it. So it's been moved and seconded that we appoint Anna Catloth, Matthew Rowe, August Hawley, and Jeremy
Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz to the 4-year terms. Are there any discussion points?
You think we ought to divide that up so we don't have a complete flip-flop every so often?
Well, we'll still advertise for those other 2
For the
openings.
2-year terms.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay?
All right.
And then
Planning
the
Commission.
Planning Commission, we have 3 openings, 2 for city residents and 1 for a county resident. We have received 3 applications from the current sitting members whose seats are up. Kathy Soph for the city position, Derek Franklin for the 2nd city position, and Mike Steck for the county position.
Okay, and it looks like that we have satisfied all of that, so,
I'd move we accept those 3.
okay.
Second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we accept Kathy Soph for city resident representation and Derek Franklin for city representation, and then Mike Steck for county. Is there a question? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay,
All right.
so Economic Development Advisory Board, we have 4 openings for city residents. That's the main qualification for the seat. We have applications from William Rombach II. He is an economics, he works for Benedictine College and is taking working towards an economics degree at Benedictine. Sebastian Branias, he also works at Benedictine College and has an economics degree. Paul Berghardt is a chief of staff at Benedictine, has lived in the city for 8 years. Michael Gia is a CPA who lives in the city, his young family here. We have Jill Thorne, who is the Atchison Area Chamber of Commerce president, executive director. And one of the seats that's currently open is her seat. We have Nick Cottle, who is the owner of Sunrise Builders, he's involved with Sunrise. Is also one of the seats that's open is his seat as well. And then we did receive a late application that I just want to make sure you are all aware of and have you talk about it from Dan Rapplinger, who is the vice president of Exchange Bank. One of the seats that's open is his seat. He is currently serving as the chairman of EDAG as well. He wrote in that he turned this in a little late because he was on vacation at the deadline. So you all can make those determinations. you have the information in front of you, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, so as it stands now, Dan Rapplinger, Nick Cottle, Jill Thorne are all they would be returning.
They would be returning.
They would be returning, okay. Dan's was late due to vacation. We also had, you said, Michael Gia, Paul Burkhart, and Sebastian Branas, and William Rombach. And all of those would have not served. We need how many? 4?
4 total.
Okay.
I'd like to move that we appoint Jill Thorne, Nick Cottle, and Dan Rapplinger to these positions, and I don't know what the rest of them, but I'd move that we do those 3 to begin with.
Okay, all right, it's been moved that we appoint Jill Thorne, Nick Cottle, I should say reappoint Jill Thorne, Nick Cottle, and Dan Rapplinger. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there a question?
Discussion.
Yes.
My preference would be we did them one at a time.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, we currently have a motion on the floor. It has been moved, it has been seconded. How we can deal with that, if I am accurate, is we could vote this motion down and then we can start again, if that's what we'd like to do.
Yeah.
Or-
You can also amend the
or we
original
can-
We
motion.
can amend it to vote on those 3 one at a
You can
time.
withdraw
Would
the
that be-
motion.
Okay. would
The
you like to
original,
amend it?
the commissioner who made the original motion can withdraw their motion. It's
Okay.
up to them.
Okay, would you like to withdraw or amend?
Yeah, I could withdraw it, or I
Okay.
could amend it to say, or make another motion, we vote on Jill Thorne, Nick Cottle, and Dan Rapplinger one at a time.
Okay, why don't we do this?
You only
Why
need a
don't you
motion for each
withdraw?
one.
Yeah, why don't you withdraw it?
I'll withdraw the first one and take that.
Okay, all right. We are withdrawing the motion. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, the motion carries. Okay, go ahead with your first motion, sir. Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought we had it there all tied together.
No,
Okay,
we
I would
didn't.
move that we vote on Jill Thorne, Nick Cottle,
You
and
need to
Dan.
choose-
We-
One at a time.
We're going to do it one at a time.
One at a time.
One at a
Yeah,
time.
one at a time, that's
One at
what I
a
say.
time. Okay.
Well, you
yeah,
have to
so
vote, you have to make a motion for each one.
For each one
And
one
then
separately.
vote.
Yep.
If you're doing them separately, you'd have to make a motion and a vote.
All 3 separate motions.
That's,
Yes.
that's the
Okay, then
request.
Okay, I would move that we vote on Jill Thorne.
Okay, all right.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we vote to reappoint Jill Thorne to the EDAG committee. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations to Mrs. Thorne. All right, next motion?
Make a motion.
Okay, I'll move that we
Okay.
nominate, that we vote on Nick Cottle.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second to reappoint Nick Cottle to the Economic Development Board?
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we reappoint Nick Cottle to the Economic Development Advisory Board. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We have 4 ayes and 1 nay, and Nick Cottle is reappointed. All right, we had a next motion planned.
Okay, I would move that we vote on Dan Rapplinger
So you'll need,
Okay.
you need to say, I move we vote to approve.
to approve Dan Rapplinger for this position.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we appoint reappoint Dan Rapplinger to the Economic Development Advisory Board. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'm out
All
of
right.
motion.
Okay. All right. So next, we have a decision to make regarding Michael Gia, Mr. Paul Burkhart, Mr. Sebastian Branas, and Mr. William Rombach. Mark, you said that several of
me to go
these.
through these?
Yes, because several of them have economic degrees. Is that correct?
So this is from their letters.
Okay.
William Rombach says he's been a resident of the city for around 10 years. He's looking to serve in some way. He has a young family. He works full-time at Benedictine College and is studying economics there. So he's working on completing his degree in economics. Sebastian Brañas says that he lives and works here. Young family as well, lives in Atchison, works for Benedictine College, and has a degree in economics. Mr. Berghardt as well, he says that he has lived in the city, let me see here, for 4 years. He is the chief of staff at Benedictine College, and he wants to serve the city because he wants to see it thrive, and he appreciates the city and wants to see, it overcome any financial barriers in the future.
Okay.
And then the final one is from Michael Gia. He has attached his resume. He is a finance and data consultant. He grew up in Atchison, attended Marhill Benedictine College. He has worked as an auditor for a mid-size accounting firm. He earned his CPA license. He has an MBA from the University of Notre Dame. And then he took on his current role for a remote company in order to move back to Atchison. He's a member of the Rotary Club. His wife lives here and works as a physician assistant at Amberwell.
Okay.
I have a question. Are you a candidate? Okay.
I don't believe any of these gentlemen are here,
Okay.
any of these four.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
About a motion.
Yeah,
I would move that we accept Paul Burkhart
Okay.
for the Economic Development Advisory Board.
Okay, I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded that we will accept and appoint Mr. Paul Burkhart to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please state same sign.
Aye.
Okay, so.
It's 2-2, Mike, I didn't hear you vote.
I was going to abstain on that. I don't know any of these people, so I.
Well, you have to make a decision.
Yeah,
You
because
can't
we're
abstain
tied
just by
now.
not knowing them. You have to have a reason to abstain.
I suppose I'd vote for Paul then.
Okay,
You vote.
so,
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask that we re-vote to be clear. Okay, so all those in favor of Mr. Paul Burkhart, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, all right, motion carries 3-2, where we have Vice Mayor Wilcox, Commissioner Slattery, and Mayor Young voting aye, and voting in nay would be Commissioner Greenlee and Commissioner Murphy. All right, congratulations to Mr. Burkhalter. All right, so we will run through these again. Congratulations to everyone who was appointed. We thank everyone for submitting. We have for the Board of Code Review, we have Dennis Pedish and Ray Laughlin. We will be resubmitting the Design Review Committee. For EDAG, we have Dan Rapplinger, Nick Cottle, Jill Thorne, and Paul Burkhart. For the Housing Authority, we have David Downing. For the Park and Forestry Board, we have Anna Katloff, Matthew Rowe, August Holly, Jeremy Sinkevich. Those were for the 4-year terms. And then for Planning Commission, we reappointed Kathy Soph, Derek Franklin, and Mike Steck. All right, did I get that correct? Okay.
I think so.
All right, congratulations to everyone. Again, we appreciate everyone who sought to be appointed to a committee. We certainly want to continue to have people to seek appointments and to be more involved in our city, so we thank you very much. And with that, we will be on to our agenda number 2, the Farmers Market Pavilion Gutters, presented by Mr. Clinton McNamee.
Watch out.
Hello. All right.
Hello,
So,
thank you.
last year, during the budget process, the Farmers Market Group expressed a very strong need for guttering on the pavilion, something that we looked at back in, I think it was 2018 when we originally built them. There was not a economic solution to it at the time. We were already up against our budget parameters for that project, so we decided to pause it till the future, see how it would work without it. Well, the way that the vendors park right under the edge of the roof, you can imagine when it rains, it gets a sheet of water, like a waterfall going into the backs of their vehicles, onto their produce, onto them. So this is something that we agreed to put in the CIP for this year. Just put it in at $50,000. It was sort of a guess at the time. We didn't have a lot of time back a year ago during the budget process to vet that out too much. We were looking at just the north side of both pavilions. That's where the vendors park initially. The bids came back in a little lower than we anticipated, so then we started rethinking, well, maybe we should look at the south side too. And so we reached out to multiple commercial guttering companies, about 5 or 6 of them. 2 of them were responsive. The one that I'm proposing tonight was the initial low bid. Initially, for half of what we're actually proposing was about $16,000 and some. The other company was American Roofing out of Leavenworth. They proposed something about $3,000 higher. So then we went back to Wallace, who is the one that put together this mock-up so we could kind of see how they would do it. Said, hey, let's double this thing and see what we got. So that's the proposal. It's $32,500. Phase 1, I'll call the guttering installation. Phase 2 would be sometime in the fall, hopefully right after the market closes. And this would be plumbing the downspouts into the underground White Clay Creek conduit as you can imagine, it's flat down there and there's not a great place to run the downspouts, so onto the ground anyway. So we're going to try to go underground with those. So there will be a phase two to this. We've got something in the works on that, but for now we're trying to get these gutters installed during the season. It's something that they want to see happen sooner than later. As you can tell, those are not your average gutters. Those are custom made, larger than what you would see on your homes and things. So it's a pretty sturdy design, I think. It looks like it's going to work out fairly well. The quote that I included in the packet, I believe, has a misprint. It said 28 downspouts. It's actually 4 on each side, so we're looking at 16 downspouts. We asked for an updated price, and somehow that changed from 16 to 28. I think it's 28 columns total, and so about every other column will have a downspout.
Interesting. All right, any questions for Clinton?
I have a question. How many days a year are we using the farmer's market? Is it 2 times a week?
For the farmer's market purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, they operate Wednesdays and Saturdays from, I want to say it's May to October-ish.
Although we are.
But it's used for other things as well.
Yeah, we are looking at other ways to use those pavilions as well, because they're a nice area downtown that's covered, so.
And that is part of our Star Bond.
It's part of our Star Bond district, that's correct.
Okay, any other?
The financial
Yeah.
consideration says 32.5, but there may be additional costs in the fall.
That's for, right. He said to try to get the downspouts to go down into the drainage to get the water away from.
But we don't know what that cost is.
We're probably estimating the total of this thing being over, it'd probably be 60 to 65, including gutters, and then
Your total would be what?
60 to 65.
60 to 65,000?
Mm.
Man, I don't know. I think we need to have just regular guttering put on here. Like you don't need this great big guttering for a little We don't have a very long
The
roof.
roof is very long, and it
No, on each
needs,
half,
the
A
roof,
regular 4-inch guttering can handle that.
this
Did
is
we
the
get any
size
local
that,
bids from the local guttering companies?
I don't know of local guttering, I mean, I know of local contractors that would do guttering, but this is custom-made, commercial-sized guttering. I don't know that anybody locally does that, so.
Could someone walk me through, because it's 32,500 right now for installation. I understand was this under budget?
so it's
Part of
under
it
the
was-
50,000 total project. If
Okay.
we move forward with phase 2, which would still be up to you to do that or not, of tying it down into, below ground drainage, then that would probably go over the 50,000 total. And that would be up to the city commission at that time.
Okay, I see.
I think we ought to just put regular guttering on it and put just downspouts and discharge it at the post. I don't see where that's a problem. It's not gonna rain every time somebody's there.
Part of
It'd
the,
save a lot of money.
part of the challenge of regular guttering is it's not a normal, you see how it's sitting at an angle?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I'm familiar with that.
the metal roof goes past the last beam. There's not like a normal soffit like you would have on a house or something. So attaching it the regular way would be,
Well, that's what these two pieces right here would do.
right,
Either end one and the next, skip one and the next one over, that's what you do. You run it up that lane and that extends down as a support for the guttering. That'd work on I've done that myself on buildings.
yeah.
That works.
The other part of it is, that makes it a challenge, is those shelters have inset columns. So the columns are not out at the drip edge.
Yeah.
They're
You have to
inset.
bring it in, bring it
So
down
you're-
to the,
We're running downspouts quite a span to get back to the columns, and I don't know that smaller guttering would hold up to that.
And what is happening right now, it's, when it rains, it's just, everything is
It's just
just,
sheet flowing off the edge all along. that-
Basically a waterfall on both sides.
and what you are suggesting would eliminate that on both sides?
Yes.
For the 32,500?
Yes.
actually, it wouldn't eliminate it, I don't think, because if you have a flat roof there and you stop the roof, you still have the water blowing in.
It will eliminate
from
the
side.
sheeting
Yeah,
of
you
water
eliminate
off
the
the
big
side. That's
sheeting
what we're
coming off
trying
the
to
roof.
eliminate.
It'll all
Yeah,
run at the
try to-
ends.
Yes, well, to the downspouts at various spots. There's 16 downspouts.
You
So
could
yeah, it won't stop the wind from blowing underneath,
Right.
which is always true. It will always be true.
I think we ought to look at having a regular gutter put on there, because that's just a lot of money, time we, putting guttering on something, that's a way bunch of money, and I think we ought to spend on that project.
Go ahead.
My understanding, this was approved last year in our budget.
It was included in the CIP to do this project this year.
Optional.
So, well, I know, I'm just saying, it isn't like we're deciding to do it today. We're just deciding to,
You are deciding to do the project or not today.
well, I mean, we could decide not to do it, but we decided last year to have the project.
You
Now
decided
we're
to
deciding
include
not
it
to
in,
accept the
you
bid.
you decided to include the project in the budget.
Right,
The
yeah.
expenses still come before you when it's time
Okay.
to do the project or not, and that is where we're at today.
Right.
Is
Right, but
Do the
we-
project or not. We put it out for bid. We received bids based on the inspection of the roof, and they all came back with this kind of material. No one bid a smaller type of gutter, or a different, or a residential style gutter.
I will
This is
add
what
that
did.
they did the math on this.
Yes.
Figured out how much size the gutter would need to be able to move that much water. And if you've been around a regular gutter, a residential grade, that is much, much larger than what's on your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to do the project.
I would
but-
assume there's some engineering went into this.
Yes.
Right. They calculate the angle and the total surface area of the roof, and they figure out how much water on certain rains and how many downspouts they need, how big that channel needs to be.
Well, I think it's one of the nicer areas in our downtown area. It is utilized by a lot of citizens. I drive through there every Wednesday morning, every Saturday morning, busy. And I think it's something that people look forward to. It also provides community. People visit there during the morning, and they're not just there to buy their tomatoes. You know, they spend time visiting with other people from the community. I think it's it was a plus to put it in, and if it needs improvement, then we ought to improve it.
I think we ought to look at regular guttering on it and see how that, I just can't understand why a 4-inch guttering wouldn't take care of that small amount of tin coming off.
I see.
Again, the
Okay.
bid process was open. We could have received bids if they determined that that was the appropriate kind of guttering. The bids we received, all the bids we received, were this kind of guttering, based on the same calculations. Again, you don't have to do the project. I'm not saying you have to do the project, but if we're going to do it, I always recommend to do it
Do it right the
correctly.
first time.
Because
I
I'm
agree with
worried,
that.
I'm worried that a smaller size gutter, when the professionals are telling us this is the size gutter you need, I'm worried putting a smaller size gutter on it would cause a problem during a large rainstorm. And you have an issue of a gutter breaking off while people are under it. That's even worse than the rainfall falling off, so.
Right, and Commissioner Greeley.
I would think that I'd be more inclined to go with this rather than go with something smaller, because the amount of rain and the water that comes off of that thing, and I've driven by there when you've had some pretty good rains. A smaller gutter, I'm afraid, is going to have a lot of overflow from that gutter on top of what's going to be in the gutter. If this is what they recommend, I'm in favor of going with the recommendation. And do they have a warranty or any kind of guarantee with this gutter?
I don't know that it says that on there, but we can certainly look into that. Usually things like this have like a 1 year, you know.
They didn't fill that part out, so we can ask them to fill it out. They have a warranty on here. They'll place the number of years, so.
Okay. All right, so any further comment or question? Are we ready to vote on this?
We have to have a motion first.
Yep.
Yes, we
Have a
do,
motion.
we do need to have a motion.
I would move that we accept this motion, this project.
The bid?
Bid.
Okay. It's been moved that we authorize staff to hire Wallace Guttering Company in the amount of $32,500 for the installation of guttering on the pavilions at the farmer's market. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
No,
Okay, motion carries. We had 3 ayes from Commissioner Greenlee, Vice Mayor Wilcox, Mayor Young, and nay for Commissioners Murphy and Slattery. All right, thank you, Clinton. All right, number 3, we will have private water main replacement by Mr. McNamee. As he's going back to the podium, I will say that I did hear from some citizens that they really do appreciate the farmer's market, and that before we had the pavilion as we see now, it wasn't as much of a community, which is what you mentioned, Vice Mayor, and now that the pavilion is there, it is a community. So I do think this is a good investment. Okay, Mr. McNamee.
All right, so we have a request for a cost share on a private water main replacement from Mount St. Scholastica, on whose campus we own the structure called the Event Center, which is also served by this same water main. They've been having, and also Sister Molly with the Mount is here tonight in case there are some questions that you might have for her. But they've been having problems with this water main for a few years. They've had 4 repairs within the last, since 2023. And so now they're looking at a replacement. It's probably a decision that we would make on our water mains, our public water mains, that the problematic ones that you eventually, it's more cost efficient to go for a line replacement than another patch and then another patch and another patch. Every time disrupting service, and like I said, it's probably not the most cost-effective solution. The agreement that we have for ownership of that building doesn't really, to my opinion anyway, doesn't really address this specific scenario. So we're sort of, charting new territory here tonight with this. Don't have a lot to fall back on precedents and things. It's a kind of a unique situation. We're not a tenant. We are an owner of a building. on a property that's owned by someone else. So it's a little different. The amount presented to us, a bid from Pruitt Construction totaling $60,092, and has proposed a 50-50 cost share. So that would leave this, that would put the city at $30,046. This is not something that we have budgeted from a year ago. This is a recent request. And so this would be something that would most likely come out of our CIP fund balance.
Yeah, I mean, I would say one note is that you just approved from the CIP, the water main replacement project throughout the city that came in around $200,000 under budget. We've had that engineering contract on there for that project. Tonight, would still be under budget. With that difference could absorb this if you so chose.
Okay, so you're saying we have about a little bit less than 200,000?
Well, ultimately what I'm saying is that if you wanted to look at them as similar projects, the one came in at 200,000 under budget, and then this one it was around that much. Maybe it was 150.
It's more complicated than that. If you remember from the last meeting when we did the water mains project, we originally intended the water mains project to be built in '24. Didn't have design done, so that funding didn't get spent somewhere else. It's kind of still there.
Okay.
And then we have another project slated for 2026 in a similar amount. Those two combined are over $1 million. Okay. And that's what we ended up having to do to be able to afford that construction contract. And then this year there was $50,000 budgeted for design of the 2020, what would have been the 2026 one, but we needed to combine 24 and 6.
Okay.
And then, so if you combine all those things together, there in theory is cushion without affecting the overall,
Okay.
I don't want to call it budget neutral, but
The CIP,
Yeah.
the fund balance of the CIP.
Okay.
Well, since
All right,
this
I see.
company saved us this $200,000, that company that I mentioned, I might add,
Yes.
why don't we reach out to them and see if they could give us a bid on it? This is in addition to the other thing.
Well, this is not our
This
I
is
know it's not,
project.
but maybe the convent could reach out to them and see if they could.
I think that you have this in front of you tonight.
Yeah.
They have a private contractor that they have selected to do the work. We can approve it or not, but I don't think we're really in a position to ask them out to go get new bids. Again, it's a private organization.
I will
Go ahead.
I will say that, Spencer Pruitt bids on a lot of our
Yeah.
projects. Not necessarily our big water main replacements, but he's always very competitive.
Yes.
And he's
Yeah, I
often the one selected for the work. So I feel pretty confident that
It's a legitimate.
there's
bid.
not too many people that are going to beat that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's Pruitt, that's local company. Sisters, do you have anything to add at this point?
I'm Sister Molly Brockwell. I'm the treasurer of Mount St. Scholastica, or as I like to say, I'm the nun of our business. We appreciate you considering this cost sharing. The Atchison Event Center is really the main building that is serviced by this water main. There's one other building, it's the Hermitage, which is a very, very small building located right on Spring Street. It's less than 1,000 square feet that's used maybe at most 15 days a month for lodging for our Sophia Center. So really the main usage of this water main is the Atchison Event Center. So
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
so anyway, we're very grateful for you considering the cost sharing on this.
Sure.
And I do have a breakout of expenses over the last 2 years that we can enter into for what we've spent on repairs to the water main, if
Could you give us the
Yeah.
numbers?
Just a number, $16,263 for repairs in the last 2 years. We've had 4 different breaks in the last 2 years.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Does any,
Given the unique situation of the shared utility, I would move that we approve this expenditure.
okay.
I'll
it's been-
second it.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we authorize staff to share the expense of replacing a water main at Mount St. Scholastica with a not-to-exceed price of $30,046. Any discussion, any further
I
discussion?
just have one question.
Yes.
How many linear feet is involved?
It's on that quote, I think. Maybe not.
Oh, is it? I didn't see it. You see that?
It doesn't actually say. It doesn't actually say.
I'm just curious what we're getting for.
It doesn't say. It's a 6-inch pipe. It's from
Okay.
Spring Street all the way to the event center.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Travis, you
I'd
drive
say it's
that
comparable to a
every
city
day.
block, probably.
1,000 feet.
I would comment that at one particular time, we did have a disruption in service. We had the college have water breaks. So we had to come out of pocket and buy porta potties and washing stations. So that was not. Plus you've got all these businesses that rent underneath.
It's true.
And so whenever this occurs, they're out of service. This has happened twice in my tenure.
Okay.
So a new line, I would certainly.
I don't know. It's probably 1,000 feet.
Okay.
I was going
It's a
to
lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
700 feet. Or,
All right. Any other questions? If not, let's vote. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Next, thank you, Sisters and Clinton. Next, we will have the party KDOT agreements, Unity and North Fifth Street sidewalk engineering, also by Mr. McNamee. Thank you, sisters.
Okay, so we've talked about these 2 projects that we got KDOT Transportation Alternatives grant awards for a time or 2. This is just another step in that process. It's a little different step than we're used to because we are used to having a city engineer on staff. And these agreements that, we did these sort of agreements when he was here, when we had that position filled, but they were much smaller. A lot of times they didn't come to the commission level. However, since we do not have a city engineer on staff, we have gone out for a qualifications-based selection process. We selected Benish for both projects. The numbers that they gave us are based on if they were to do the full design for both projects. And however, there is going to be, it should not be that much because we have an engineering technician who does the drawings. And so we are going to try to blend the private engineering firm with our on-staff person as much as we can. We just could not foresee what that exact split would be in advance. So Benish has proposed, a turnkey style design price, but it should come in at some level lower than that. The Unity Street project, this is the pedestrian improvement, sidewalks and lighting from 2nd to 6th. We had an 80% grant from KDOT, not to exceed $814,479. That's the 80%. So the total project price could be, around $1 million. And that covers engineering and construction. The other project is the North 5th Street Safe Routes to School sidewalk improvements from Santa Fe up to Unity. That is 100% funding, up to $924,389.
100% from KDOT.
Right.
Yeah.
They did 100% on the Safe Routes projects this year. They used another division of KDOT that had some funding for safety, and they decided to put it towards the local matches on all the Safe Routes awards for next year. So, right, so the 100% for the North 5th project for design if we were to even max out the design for Unity, the 20% local match would be $25,600.
And again, it should come in
To the
well
city.
under that, and whatever is left in there can then go into the actual
Okay.
project and do more on the project.
Okay, so as it stands now, it's, our local share would be 25,600.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes. And it'll be lower than that,
Yes,
because Mark, our engineering tech, will do
as
some of
much
the
as he
work.
can.
Okay, but
And,
that's the max.
That's the max.
And the three-party component of this is, it's between the city, Benish, and KDOT.
Okay.
So that's why we call them the three-party agreements. So.
Okay. Okay, all right, does anyone have any questions? Okay. All right, if not, I will move. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize the mayor and city staff to execute the three-party agreements with the Kansas Department of Transportation and Benish for engineering services for the Unity and North Fifth Street sidewalk and pedestrian improvement projects. All those, is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and our last item of new business, also Mr. McNamee's wastewater treatment plant, communications and controls.
All right, so the 2025 wastewater CIP plan has a budget of $120,000 to upgrade the SCADA, and which is the remote controlling and monitoring of the different wastewater treatment systems, and also communications, kind of all wrapped up together. It's upgrading things from 1990s vintage, early 2000s, things like that. The companies that came in deemed these systems end of life, like they're no longer supported. One of them, the SCADA, for example, runs on a Windows operating system that is already unsupported. So something happens to that computer, and we go out and buy a new computer, and it's got the updated Windows on it. We're not going to be able to talk to our sub-processes throughout the plant, and then also North Headworks. We went out, there's not a lot of companies that we work with that do this. So we're looking at two. One of them's Pedrati. It's one that we've used quite a bit over the years. And then more recently, we've used HOA. If you remember, they got the communications upgrade award for the water plant. I believe that was late last year, early this year. I can't remember the exact date. Good process. Staff enjoys working with HOA. They did come in lower on this one. However, it's still over the $120,000 budget. We do have annual programs in our CIP, such as replacing UV bulbs, curb and sidewalk, green solutions, which we use for tree plantings downtown. I think there's several of those items that we can dial back on to absorb the overage on this project so that CIP remains neutral. We're not taking more out than what we had originally planned. But yeah, these things, it sort of automates some of the sub-processes. It allows us to monitor things remotely, allows us to control things remotely. It just increases our efficiency. We can catch things happening in real time to avoid cascading or avalanching problems. It will possibly even eliminate, we do weekend rounds to all these places. It might eliminate the need for some of those weekend rounds, so it would reduce our cost for overtime and such. So, yeah, the request is to go with HOA Solutions in the amount of $144,515 with $3,000 in change order authority. And again, that's about $24,000 over the original budget. However, we can make that up with our other annual programs by underspending them.
Okay. All right, and most of, or all of them are end of life, in other words, obsolete technology.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a tech person,
Okay.
but just visually seeing the control boxes and things, you can look at it and say that is not from the last 10 to 15 years. That's 20, 25, 30 years old, so. And it's not supported anymore. You can't find the parts. The technicians, there's no technicians still working. I mean, I guess they would still work on it, but they're not being trained on 30-year-old technology. They're being trained on the new stuff, so.
Okay. All right, we have a question, and yes, sir. Yes.
Not only is it obsolete,
Uh,
it's running over. Different things that can be.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All
And
right.
that is a really
Yeah.
valid concern with
Okay.
utilities world.
Okay. Okay.
Probably
I-
more so on the water side than the wastewater, but still, it's something that we have to address.
Okay.
Because of environmental regulations, we've got to provide some level of cyber security on that kind of thing, so.
Okay, absolutely. Any questions, Commissioner
I
Murphy?
just have one. Do they have some kind of a warranty as far as, I didn't take time to read the whole spiel. Is there a warranty for their work and how long is it going to be? And, because we all know things are going to change in the next 30 years.
They do
Well,
have
they
a
do.
warranty in the agreement.
I bet
They have a
Yeah, that's what I
warranty,
mean.
it's a 1-year substantial completion warranty, plus other materials warranties and parts warranties as provided by the manufacturer.
Okay.
Okay, great. Any other questions, concerns? If not, are we ready to entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we authorize authorize staff to hire HOA Solutions to perform a series of controls and communication upgrades and updates to wastewater treatment process in the amount of $144,515, with an additional change order authority of $3,000. Are there any discussion points? If not, all those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we will have old business, and I know that we do have at least one individual, perhaps maybe two, that would like to speak on this after Mr. Restoff presents.
So at the last meeting, the last regular meeting, city commissioners tabled a potential no parking ordinance that pertained to the 1200 and 1300 blocks of South 9th Street, as well as Riley Street between Washington and 2nd. City staff continue, we met with Chief Wilson again today to talk about it. We continue to believe that 15-foot wide streets within city limits are not appropriate for parking. There's maybe an argument to even be had that parking cannot even be done legally on a 15-foot wide street. Any vehicle that's parked on the roadway is going to be blocking a full lane of traffic. Any vehicle that's parked off the roadway is in violation of those parking standards. So it's a bit of a catch-22 where we feel like the parking ordinance for these two streets doesn't meet the traffic laws. So we continue to recommend no parking ordinances on these two streets. I know there are individuals who probably would like to speak.
Yes, if you could speak now, and if you could just remember to state your name and your address. We appreciate that.
My name is Dr. Patrick Hurl. I'm a civil engineering professor at Benedictine College, and I live at 1221 South 9th Street. Couple of points that I wanted to make with regards to this. One is, first of all, Commissioner Slattery, I really appreciate you showing up before the last meeting. And Chief, I appreciate you coming out this weekend and you had a chance to talk to my wife as well. On South 9th Street, a couple of things that were mentioned last time that I want to do some clarification, put some clarifications on. The first one is there was a mention that a resident had said that there were numerous large gatherings at 1221 South 9th Street, my house. We've lived there for 2 years. Over those 2 years, there's been 3 times where we've had enough people at our house that we filled up our driveway. Only twice on those has anybody parked out past our mailbox on and down 9th Street. So frequent is not appropriate. That's the truth of that. On that. Second, there was talk about a cul-de-sac on South 9th Street. There is no cul-de-sac. It is my driveway that quite a few people, including various city agencies, the U.S. Postal Service, do like the ease of being able to turn around in my driveway, and I allow that. But it is private property on that. So that's important to understand as well. It dead ends into my driveway on that. Third, on the 1st of December, I had an accident in my garage. There were cars parked on 9th Street. They weren't mine, weren't associated with me. But the ambulance was able to easily get into my driveway and get me out of there. So when we're talking about safety with regards to being able to park on the side of a 15-foot street, let's make sure that we know what we're focusing on. And the other thing is that I wonder, and what I would like to see before we pick 2 streets out of ours, having just looked across the city and started looking at where those small streets are. If this is a true safety issue, Chief, we should have a report of all of the streets that are out there, and then if there's going to be an ordinance, it should address all of the streets that are out there that have this, not just 2 in particular. And one of those happens to be, if that were done and we're looking at a safety issue across the city, then I'm on board. My street showing up is likely more of an issue with one of my neighbors calling, which we have now finally been able to talk through. But that's all I have to say.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you
Question.
very much. Oh, yes.
Given that you've only had 3 occasions where you've had 2 of which you had more cars than there was space for, what is your issue with not allowing parking?
No, if that's it, but I'm interested in, if we're looking at this as a true safety issue, from a civil engineering standpoint, I need to look across the entire city, okay? Don't just pick one street. If this is an issue, and we do have narrow streets here in Atchison, where's the study that shows where all the streets are, and let's make them all safe?
You have to start somewhere.
That's true, okay? But let's get that report out there. Let's get it done before we just start picking individual streets and going from there.
Okay.
And I would
Yes,
add, I'm Denise Hurl. I live at 1221 South 9th Street. That the precedent, if you do this piecemeal street by street, is that now you're setting that as the precedent for how you make decisions in the city. And that's fine if that's the way you want to run the city. But we're saying, don't vote on this ordinance and then vote 2 weeks later on another person who complains, and then on another person who complains, because then you're setting that precedent that complaining about the parking is more important than the safety. We absolutely agree that South 9th Street should not have parking on it. It's too narrow. But so do many of the other streets in my neighborhood. And if you're talking about fire and ambulance getting through, make that the message that you're sending. Don't vote on this ordinance. Set an ordinance for the entire city.
Thank you. Anyone else have a concern? Yes, absolutely.
To some degree, I agree, that's a reasonable request. Yeah, my position would be, in general, that if someone came to me and said, there's a 15-foot wide street in the city that I've had problems getting through at some point, then I would recommend to the city commission to make that street no parking as well. There's different ways to potentially do that. One, if you would like to, you can pass an ordinance stating that, if you would like, that 15-foot wide street, a street is 15 feet or less, there's no parking on it. You can do that without a survey if it's really a question of just simply 15 feet is not wide enough because, again, a lane of travel is minimum 8 feet wide in most traffic standards, and so parking a vehicle on it fully blocks it. A vehicle parks next to it, the street's fully blocked. City staff is open to that as well and open to, finding those and making those no parking as well. But I just wanted to address that
Okay,
part.
and I have a question. So with our traffic code, you said that this may be allowing parking on streets that are as narrow as 15. Is that in conflict?
Well, my point with that is that you're not allowed to fully block a lane of travel with a vehicle by parking a vehicle on the street. So if I were to come out here into Kansas Avenue, which is 60 feet wide, and I park right in the middle, I would get a ticket. Kansas Avenue has parking on the side, so it's not a problem. With a street that is that narrow, there's no option. You're required to park on the roadway, on the paved surface, and if you were going to do that, you're going to block a lane of travel completely. So there's kind of like I said, that's a situation where the reality in the real world is kind of necessitates no parking without even a no parking ordinance theoretically, but at the same time, we don't want to go around ticketing cars because they're parking somewhere and there's not a no parking sign, right? And we say, well, you're blocking the traffic. Then they say, there's not a no parking sign. So we'd rather have those match if we're going to be looking at that.
Commissioner Murphy?
There would be so many variables on that anyway, like the number of residences or structures along this 15-foot road.
To me, those...
The fact that their property basically is a dead end to that street. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be a thoroughfare. 9th Street is not. So there's more than just the fact that the street's 15 foot, because like he said, there's 15-foot streets all over town that have a lot more traffic than you're going to have on South 9th Street.
I don't know that there's 15-foot streets all over town. There are very narrow streets. There are not that many actually 15-foot streets. And we have started to look at this question because of this concern that's been raised on two parts of town. There are not that many that are that narrow in reality. There are many very narrow, and especially some that when there's cars parked on them, they feel very narrow as well, but you can still pass through.
I mean, I travel it a lot, and Kansas Avenue.
It gets narrow out there.
15th to 17th, I wouldn't park on it. So sometimes it's self-instructing. If it looks too narrow to park on, probably is. But
well, that's kind of my.
I just don't know that we should be making, like he suggested, you don't make it based on one premise and only one thing, and then don't apply it universally.
Right. So I like I said, I would agree. I think that I personally do not think that you can safely park on either side of a 15-foot wide street. That's from the other issues of traffic and number of residences, or if it's a through street or a dead end. All of those can exacerbate that concern, but they don't eliminate the primary concern, which is simply that unless you're allowing motorcycle parking only, you just can't safely park on a 15-foot wide street. We don't allow parking in the alleys, and the alleys are generally 50 feet wide.
We have, I think, two fairly unique, different situations here. Mm-hmm. With their street where they have two residences at dead ends, whereas 2nd and Riley is going to be a very congested area where there's minimal parking, and there are already parking issues, and people are going to park on that street on Riley unless they're told not to, unless it's enforced. It's just going to happen. Ms. Hamrine will.
Go ahead.
Come on up. Yep, absolutely.
Don't move. I just
no,
please. Comment. Marion Hamrine on East Mound Street. If there are The problem on Riley Street is people will try to park in the yard. And so they may not, sometimes they're parking on the street, sometimes they park, but then they're just on my property. And then that's just the hassle that all the, that
Sure, and I mean, that is also illegal, so, and it's currently illegal, so, yeah, go ahead.
But it's not always addressed when we call, and ask people to come block. They weren't getting tickets.
If your concerns are not being addressed, please let me know. I would love to follow up on that, because I drive by that street nearly every morning after dropping my son off at school, and Chief can attest that multiple occasions I will call him in the morning and say there's a car parked off the street over there, or there's a car really close to the intersection, and they'll come and take care. No, it happens throughout the day. Without a sign up on a street like Riley, it's, you come out and you ticket at 8 o'clock, and at 8:30 a new car comes in. So please keep letting us know, but we want to be responsive to that. But us, having this ordinance on Riley Street and the signs up would at least, I think, deter a good portion of that. And then obviously if they park off the street, you have remedies with the law and personal remedies if you'd like. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, any other discussion, any other questions?
How did we end up with this street so narrow, and is that something we ought to look at, maybe to widen it, or?
Which one?
Solution? The one out south, I don't think it's Riley.
Down there, you can comment. I think it's too.
I can count on that because I've actually looked at all the properties around there. I've actually surveyed all of them around as well. So one unique thing about South 9th Street is it's not an easement. Okay, there's 60 feet of actually, no, it's actually city property. Yeah, I mean, it's unique, because usually you're going to see, you've got easements on either side of the road, and only the road is in. No, there's 60 feet wide and with a 15-foot road that actually belongs to the city. And then you get to the different property boundaries. So, to your point, Commissioner Slattery and Commissioner Wilcox, there's room there to expand that street, and it all belongs to the city.
Did you put a price tag on that while you were researching?
No, I did not. Okay, but I'll tell you one thing that likely my neighbors who have called in do not want that to happen because their parking spaces are on city property.
I see. Okay, all right.
And that area is tighter in general as well. There's a elevated berm on the west side of the street that if you were to expand would create a lot of issues. And on the right, as he said, a lot of the homes are fairly close. The home there is fairly close, and they have infrastructure there. So there are things blocking street expansion in that neighborhood. And then you kind of do come back to the question of two residents on a block needing, a street expansion, probably not as warranted as perhaps, as we have already looked at Riley Street and future possible expansions of Riley Street. The issue there comes down to the cost, which is significant. So we have in our plan to be resurfacing Riley Street in the near future. We did not choose to increase that project to a widening simply because of the price tag that we were getting back on those estimates. In addition to the fact that with First Street going in between 2nd and Washington, which is going in at a wider width with parking, that problem might not be as bad in the future. And obviously, if it is as bad in the future, we would deal with that then.
So just for clarification, you're not opposed to making this a no parking street? Well, I don't know that we can solve that tonight.
Well, I think you can by not voting for this ordinance, making it.
But just so you know what my thought is, I feel like we need to take action on Riley sooner rather than later.
And you can amend.
For a lot of reasons.
You can amend this ordinance through your motion if you want.
We could.
Or you can. Will you be choose to not vote for this and give direction to come up with a different ordinance or you can vote for it. I mean, you have all those options in front of you.
Would you be disappointed if we voted to not put no parking signs?
We've solved the problem with our neighbor by telling her that we will never have any of our guests park on 9th Street. Also communicated with Mar Hill that if we have an event, because those are the events that we have, they are related to our ministry at Benedictine College and St. Benedict's Parish. If we have an event, we have an agreement with Mar Hill Mount Academy to have people park there and walk down the street. So this ordinance isn't solving, there is no problem anymore.
That's what I like to hear, that this problem just goes away that way. I
Okay,
think we
so
ought to
then-
address that Riley Street thing and let this other one
So-
float around and make sure that,
Okay.
just leave it alone.
So then what we can do is just, whoever makes the motion, or I am happy to move, but we can strike section 1 of
And
our
renumber.
ordinance, and then
And
just have-
renumber, you would
and-
need that in the motion too. If you want to strike section 1, you need to include and
And we'll renumber. So if we are agreed, and if that satisfies, does anyone have any questions before I make this motion? Okay.
And you're going
Well, let's hear what her motion is.
Yep. So I am going to move that we amend our ordinance by striking the language in section 1, parking on the roadway is prohibited in the 1200 and 1300 blocks of South 9th Street. That will be stricken. And we will keep section, and the new section 1 will read, parking on the roadway is prohibited on Riley Street between Washington Street and 2nd Street.
I like that.
All right, with that being amended, and Bob, does that satisfy? Okay, very
second
good.
that.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded that we will adopt the amended ordinance number 6720, an ordinance prohibiting parking on Riley Street between Washington and 2nd Street.
Bob, are you okay with, without renaming it in the motion?
it matters.
Okay,
We can always do that in minutes.
sure,
Vote down an ordinance.
that's fine.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Do we have a question?
Well,
Yes, sir.
I'm all right with not solving every problem all at the same time. You know, so I'm just going to say that. I think it's all right to move on both streets now and evaluate as we go along. I don't care what I got. A room full of kids, I can't solve all their problems at the same time. Address them one at a time until we get as many of them solved as we can. I'm fine with your motion.
Okay, all right, very good. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, and thank you all.
And we will look at the widths and the streets in the rest of the city.
I think we should, because I honestly think it is unsafe. I've
There are
been down the
there are other
15,
streets
so,
where,
yeah.
as when I've been traveling around, you suddenly encounter a car that's parked and you go, I don't know that I can get around this.
So usually when there's a complaint, it's not about the safety. It's about the inconvenience to someone.
Well, it's both. It's both. Yeah. Okay.
Safety being the excuse.
I think we ought to leave things
Yes.
alone that don't need to be bothered like that. Leave it alone.
All right, very good. Let's move on to communications, and I'd like to thank everyone who came and participated.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, so in communications,
Solving that problem too.
Yes.
That's great.
in communications, we have the Atchison Housing Authority Board minutes from May 20th. In the informational items, we have the June 2025 financial report for the city. And then we also have with us tonight, Chamber of Commerce and the Event Center directors to make a brief presentation of anything that they presented or answer any questions that you might have. Did you have anything that you wanted to point out, Jill, in yours? You want to come up? You have the Main Street.
I do have, I included the Main Street, so most of all of you guys were a part of that when the National Main Street came and did our transformation visit. So that report is in there, and I can give you the very brief, because it's very long. Their two suggestions to us was an incubator space. So I have made an appointment with
Say that
them.
again, please.
An incubator space?
Business incubator.
Yeah, business, not chickens. So to help start local businesses here. We know that we're not going to have a lot come into our town, so we need homegrown. So I have an appointment with Emporia Main Street to go down and look at their incubator space and see exactly what we need to do and what that looks like financially, and to get that up and running and see what, if we can't do that here. The second thing is to do something with the 400 block, AKA the cap of the mall.
Yeah.
To make it more 8 to 80 is what they call it, so that 8-year-olds can use it, and so can 80-year-olds. So to make it more of a public gathering space.
Okay.
So, any other questions you have for me?
They give you any specifics?
No. Yeah, that's what they do.
All right. Any questions, discussion? We are, okay, 244.
Yeah.
244 to 286.
I got lost here.
That's okay.
244?
253 for the main.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Okay. Any questions? I appreciated being a part of the Main Street. I thought that was enlightening, and you also had a good cross-section of individuals with the governing body, and then also those that are merchants in the community.
Yeah, I will tell you that the people from National were very impressed with how we showed up and showed out. So.
Very good. And you said that you do have an appointment at Emporia to go over what they're
August
incubating.
4th. So if anybody would like to cruise with me, you're more than welcome to.
I think I may take you up on that. All right. Okay. Any questions, concerns?
So in addition to those points, you had great cookies.
Did have great cookies.
I do not have any, so I'm going to take your...
Okay, thank you, Jill. Thank you. All right, next is the
And then we also
event center.
have Travis Grossman from the Atchison, from Theater Atchison and the Atchison Event Center. Anything you wanted to highlight in your?
A couple things, if you don't mind. And this just, in the weeds just a little bit, I just wanted to give kudos to your staff. This weekend, Amelia Earhart Festival, swimmingly. Police, the Parks and Rec, Fire, all of them. We had done logistic meetings, they all worked great, and then they all executed on everything we talked about, all the tweaks that we decided on, road changes, towings, all of that worked great. Every time we needed trash cans, they were Johnny on the spot, and Pat does a great job down at the river too. So thank you, and thank your staff. They killed this weekend. I appreciate that. I do have that, my financial report's kind of a small one that month, not a whole lot of activity. To date, I went ahead and pulled that financial statement year-to-date, and for my year-to-date fiscal year is September 1, 24, so it'll be coming up here again in September, and the all-in picture, and I think you get the year-to-date next month, so you'll get the actual, you'll see this in front of you, but we're about $500 to the good currently, so at least we're not in the red, which is a great thing. We're managing with what we have where we're at, so that's good. Any questions for me or any comments?
I don't have any commissioners. Have anything?
Are you seeing an increase in use of the event center?
No. Like downcrease and or downturn in the use of it, and also I think the gathering sizes have become smaller. For example, weddings. So the last wedding we had was a much smaller wedding than had typical. I think it's just pocketbooks, because if you look at our first, second, third quarter last year, they were much better, much more robust than they are this year. And I don't know that it's anything in terms of the facility lacking. I just think it's folks trying to conserve some money right now. So, and I would just hurry up and wait on that issue, in my opinion. But another thought, and put this in your cap, we were talking about an incubator space. We've got that wonderful commercial kitchen there. It needs some upgrades, but if that's something you'd want to consider to make an incubator space, we don't currently use it other than anything like a back kitchen. So, man, that's a possibility. You could look at that. I don't know if it works. There's a lot of legalities, insurance and licensing with the state, et cetera, et cetera. But boy, if you had 2 or 3 people wanted to bake stuff or cook stuff, it could be a possibility you can work in with that. It wouldn't scratch all the itches that we had on Main Street, but it certainly might a couple. So just a thought.
Okay. All right, and you said about plus 500, you said?
Yes, dollars.
Dollars,
yeah. So all the expenses, and I'll just give you the number real quick. I put it here, and I can give that to you. So for year to date, oh, it's 5,000. I said 500. 5,000. That's even better. I like that. So 5,000 net operating to the positive.
Okay. All right. Very good.
On a positive note, you complimented everybody else, but both Friday and Saturday night were organized to the T.
Awesome.
And your people pulled it off extremely well.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
Even on, you're more Friday night than Saturday night, right?
Yeah, well, we do both. Yeah, that big concert Friday night, but then we have concerts, all that, all that, and the fireworks and the air show.
I mean, the Saturday one was hot.
Amen to that.
People were tense.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of your staff that kept the temperature down. People got irritated.
Yep, agreed.
Organization was fantastic.
Thank you. And to finish that comment, the total gross, $104,000 made and spent, $5,000 to the good. So that's kind of where that's at.
Okay, all right, very good.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.
Okay. Thank you, Joe, also.
Okay, and then I have my update. I'll try to keep it brief.
Okay.
Elephant Park, we've started the site work for the splash pad. There have been some weather interruptions. Will likely continue to be some weather interruptions. Just a note again, the main contractor has told us that the final splash pad parts will not be delivered until October. So while initially we were hoping to be able to have that open at some point in the summer, it's looking like that probably won't happen. Independence Park, they got it in under the wire before Amelia Fest, but the contractors were able to put in the new safety surface replacement around the keel boat, and it looks really great. So that park is up and running. The splash pad is running there. We've mentioned it before, the Safe Streets for All survey is still open until the end of July. They gave us an update, and they're definitely looking for more responses. And I will remind people that commenting your response on the Facebook post of the survey does not count. So please take the survey and put it in the official record if you have something that you want in there. Sidewalk projects that we've talked about, most of this has been completed or is close. They're currently doing work on 13th Street. And they are also doing the 12th Street intersection, which is one of the intersections that needed replaced in this project. Clinton mentioned that they passed, the work they've done passed their strength test, so they're continuing on and should have that done soon. The U Street Bridge, the main work is completed. They'll be doing their final cleanup there this week. The South Headworks project, just a little brief update. We've talked about it multiple times. It came in over bid. We did receive the initial approval from the Army Corps of Engineers to utilize any funds we put into the South Headworks project as our matching funds for congressionally directed spending dollars that we were awarded from the federal government in the past, which will then be used in connection with the Army Corps of Engineers to fund future CSO separation projects fully at 100% since we've already done our match. That would include the 15th Street separation project, which we got an update today is at 65% design stage. They did a walkthrough of the site today, so that one's moving forward. I'll echo what everyone said about Amelia Earhart Festival. Everything went well from the perspective of city staff. Chief Wilson and Chief Weiser report there were no major incidents during the festival. Obviously some minor things here and there, but nothing too major to report. And the cleanup was reported by at least some staff to me was not as extensive as in years past. But at the very least, I want to extend my gratitude to all city personnel, emergency personnel, and all city workers who put in overtime hours, extra time to ensure that the festival, like other private events that we host in the city, goes as smoothly as possible. We do that not just for Amelia Fest, we do that for all kinds of private events in the city, and we're happy to do that. The last note is, we'll have more on this coming out, but I wanted to go ahead and put it out now. The credit card fees charged to the city by major credit card companies have more than doubled in the last few years. We've discussed this in the budget workshops, but we're going to go ahead and put it out there now. This year, the city has spent more money covering credit card fees in the first 6 months of the year than any previous full year. We are at $215,000 this year in taxpayer money that's been spent for credit card fees. That's more, again, than any previous full year.
Did you say 215?
215,000 as of the end of June.
So 6 months.
6 months. So this is for utility payments, this is for assessment payments, court fees are included in that. So that comes out to an average of over 11% per transaction. That when residents pay with a credit card, the city has, previously it was 2-3%, and we were happy to cover that charge so people could use their credit cards. At 11% average, it's unsustainable and it can't continue. So starting October 1st, 2025, the city will begin charging those credit card fees back to anyone who's using a credit card. So that's for utility payments, assessment payments, and municipal court payments. We provide other payment methods, including automatic payments for utility bills, that do not charge any fees. And we are putting together a flyer to go out in the water bills to let people know that this is coming. We're giving them 2 months heads up on the water bills. They will know that this is coming, and they will know the alternative methods to either make your payments using check or cash, which is no fees, or you can set up automatic bank drafting with the city free of charge. There's a process. It's one piece of paper, fill it out, give us a voided check, and you get that auto deducted every month, no problems.
Doesn't that have to come out of a checking account?
Checking or savings account.
You can't assign it to a card.
Correct.
Okay.
It must come from a checking
the people
or
know that.
it'll be
What was
clear.
that again?
If you have like an ACH, and you have to have it go directly to a bank account through the bank instead of through
Yes.
a credit card. Like if you said I'll automatically charge that to my
Yes.
Debit card.
The point is,
card,
the
it's
point,
gonna charge still.
the point is that Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express have increased their fees to the point, so you cannot use, if you want to pay any payment to the city starting October 1st with any of those cards, even if it's a debit card, there will be a fee and it will be charged back. Those fees are different with each card, but the average right now is around 11%.
Is that what we will charge then? Is that the percentage that you're suggesting?
We will charge whatever that card's fee is, most likely, unless we want to just do an average, but we'll figure that out.
Okay.
But the
That-
fees will be charged back.
Because we take about 15 cards and there's 15 different. You're
Yes.
probably going to be better off with an average like of 3 or 4% probably.
But that's my point, Bill, is that 3 or 4% doesn't begin to cover it.
It doesn't.
We are being charged over
My fees are-
11% average. Average. So that means some are higher. So we will be charging that back simply because those tax dollars are going to Visa and American Express, which it doesn't make sense. And we provide an alternative. If we didn't provide an alternative, then that's a different discussion. But we have systems set up so that residents can make these payments with no fees. They can set up automatic payments with no fees. They just have to fill out a form to show us their account information.
Or come with a check or cash.
They will need, or pay with a check or cash. And you can pay with check or cash at the various drop boxes throughout town as well, if that's the option that they want to do.
I do have a question that I think is going to be asked. This $215,000 that we've already spent this year, and we're probably
Yes.
going to spend another 100 at least, probably.
Something, yes.
How is that affecting our budget? Not the coming budget. Because that
current
money,
budget.
we didn't have it budgeted in our budget for happening this year.
Yes, we're taking a look at it.
I mean, 'cause
We're
that-
keeping an eye on it to
that's
see
a
where we
third of
come
$1
out at the
million.
end. We're keeping an eye on it to see where we come out at the end of the year.
Okay.
But there's a non-zero chance that the city will have to file an amended budget with the state because of credit card fee increases.
Okay.
So and that's something that
Who'd have
you
thunk it?
basically can't predict. They could increase it again tomorrow, and we could be talking 15-16%. We don't have any control over that. So
No, I'm aware.
So that, I know it's not the most welcome news, especially if people like to pay with their credit card, but I want citizens to understand why we're doing it. It's, in the past, we were happy to absorb that, but it's more than doubled, and it's not a good use anymore. So,
We
again,
can't-
and we have alternative ways to pay. Yes,
We
Commissioner?
can't refuse to accept credit card payment.
We sure could. We could.
Would-
We are happy to still take it. They will just have to cover the fee cost as of right now. But if you all direct us to not take credit card payments anymore, we can do that as well. I'm
think
just
it
saying
would-
that we can't.
I think it would save us a lot of headaches in the future. I mean, I'm the type of person, I don't even use a credit card. And everywhere you go, everybody wants a credit card. They don't want cash. You go to Royals game, you go to any function, they want plastic. They don't want green stuff, they want plastic. If we could not accept credit cards, if we're that far in debt by accepting credit cards, I think we'd be further ahead to go with checks and plain hard cash. That's my thought.
ACH.
Well, some people just, they won't not use their credit card.
Yeah, I think
That's
we're,
right.
but it's
If
an
they
option.
choose, the cost is going to be to them, it's not going to be to the city. So
And
it's
we
all-
have
that's
we have the
all-
systems in place to continue accepting those. We just add that fee. So.
Okay. All right, and then you'll figure out what percentage will be
Yeah,
charged.
we'll figure out if
Okay.
if there's an easy way to charge per card, then we'll do it that way.
Okay.
If not, we'll do an average, which again, right now is, I think it's around 11.5%.
Okay.
So
Does anybody want to pay with Venmo or Apple Pay?
Charge is still there.
There's a
Charge
charge.
is still, I
It's-
think
it goes
Venmo.
to-
If you're, so just Venmo, yeah, so
They all
it's
do charge a
Venmo.
fee.
It doesn't charge when I do it.
Well, here's the, if I can,
No,
Venmo.
Not you,
if-
it charges the person who's taking it.
No, it's not true either. Venmo.
Hold on. Okay, let's let Mark go.
Venmo, Cash App, and Apple Pay. If you are transferring money to an individual, a friend, family member, there is no charge. If you are paying for something with it, there is supposed to be a charge. I will not comment on the business practices of certain businesses who accept payments under the guise of personal transactions, but the city will not do that. So if we were to go the route of accepting any of those, we would be in the same boat, although the percent that I currently understand is there with those is lower. But we're not adding another form of payment. We have appropriate forms of payment in place now to satisfy, in my calculation, to satisfy everyone, including those who continue to want to pay with their credit card and pay that fee.
My question was, has anybody tried to do that? Because that's where all
No.
these young kids are going.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Venmo and Cash App.
They still have to have a bank account to pay with Venmo and Cash App, and if you have a bank account, you can auto draft it with us. You just have to give the routing number and the account number, and then you
See,
can.
we're thinking like 40 and 50 and 60-year-old people. I don't think the young kids think like that.
We got to teach them how to think.
They have a bank account. I don't know. They have a bank account. You can look up your routing number and account number on your bank account on your phone. So, yeah. Okay. So that was the last thing I had.
Okay, all right. Okay, next, we thank you, Mark, appreciate that. Next, we will have governing body comments. Commissioner Greenlee?
Just to echo the comments already made about the Amelia Festival and the job that police department did, fire department, and all the city crew. I think it went well, just based on my observation. I didn't make it to the festivities, but in driving around prior to, the traffic was not as bad, and things were set up to where it made it go smoothly, in my opinion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's off to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor Wilcox?
Well, I'm just going to repeat, because I was there, Friday, 7:15 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning, both days. and was right in the middle of it, and it was extremely well organized, as I mentioned, in the EMS and the police, particular the fire folks, those that cleaned up afterwards, which is one of the biggest headaches of all. The setup of all the barriers and cans and everything. Everything was so well organized and executed. I don't know that it could be a whole lot better. Maybe a few more trash cans, but that all looked good.
Thank you.
Oh, I want to say something too. I'll go back to our boards that we selected earlier. First, I'm glad that we've had so many people interested, because we've had some difficulty in the past in filling some of those positions. A couple of my votes weren't necessarily in favor or against someone. It was just so that I don't want somebody to feel, well, I tried and I didn't get in there. If you didn't make a board this time, don't give up. Keep throwing your name in the hat, because we're going to need you sometime eventually.
And there are some openings that remain too. So if those individuals are interested in the other boards.
They are, and then on some of these boards, there will be other vacancies that will come up. So please continue to look at our website, call if you have questions. We appreciate that. Anything else, Vice Mayor? Okay, all right. Commissioner Murphy.
Well, to sound redundant, the police and the fire, municipal employees who did everything that was done was remarkable. I got home faster than I've ever gotten home.
Well,
to work. Actually,
you should have slowed down. You should have slowed down.
Well, the police were too busy to do something, so I really admired the police to leave me alone. But the entertainment was good, and I will say something. We were talking about cleaning it up, and when we left the concert, I was amazed on how little trash there was on the ground. It was it was kind of amazing. The police department did a great job, and the city staff, all the city crews. One guy came in our store, and he was on his way to work from the city. He came in my store, so I was real pleased. And I would like to agree with Larry that it's nice to see that many people start getting interested in some of these committees and groups and boards and things like that, because we need everybody up here except La Rochelle is over 70 years old. We need some people who are maybe get some youth coming in, and anyway, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, good points. Commissioner Slattery. Okay.
All these wonderful.
Okay. All right. I echo everything that has been said here. And again, a huge thank you and congratulations to our city staff, to Chief Wilson and Chief Weishar on a job well done. I want to also thank, of course, Clinton McNamee and also Reagan for the hard work that they continually do for our meetings and calculations. And of course, to Mr. Westhoff and Tina for all of their hard work. I'd also like to, again, congratulate the Amelia Earhart Festival. The chair and co-chair did a wonderful job again this year. Of course, that's Karen Seberg and Jackie Prejean. And then just also to re-highlight Tara Dower, who was the recipient of the Amelia Earhart Award. And just for those of you who may not know, Tara Dower has the fastest known time on the Appalachian Trail, which is 40 days, 18 hours, and 6 minutes. And that's running, and that is the fastest known time. So that is for men or women. So appreciated that. It was a wonderful celebration. So with that, I move that we adjourn to Land Bank. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn to Land Bank. All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned to Land Bank.
One-minute break for me.
Okay.
Sure.
I move that we adjourn.
At least it was that.
Yes, and not something else.
Is that my bottle pen?
It very well could be something else.
It was AI.